Hello everybody, Intuition here. Thank you as always for making time and space for us. Today we would like to address a question with regards to how do you access and work with your deep-seated traumas, triggers, and issues. And though that seems like an easy breezy cover girl type of question, it is going to require a multifaceted answer. So, though it does not seem relevant, we promise that it will get back to the main question that is posited. So the first way in which you work with some of your issues, triggers, traumas, is first by realizing that there are a lot of voices in your head. Meaning that there's a lot of things that are taking up space that are not inherently your voice, that are not inherently your behaviors that you're exhibiting. A lot of it is learned, and a lot of it is informing you, and through that information, it is causing a distortion of who it is that you are as opposed to who it is that you are told that you need to be. So what we'll say is this: it is important to understand whose voice is talking to you inside of that big, beautiful head of yours. Because we always have three voices talking to us. We have the personality's voice, which is not us. We have our voice that is based in neutrality, and we have our higher selves voice. And we say higher selves because it is not our higher selves. To say it is a higher self is to say that something is higher than you, which means that you are lower. It simply means that there is an aspect of yourself that is not having a physical human experience, and that is often regarded as a higher self. But if you and that aspect of yourself switched positions in which you stopped having the human experience and they had the human experience, then you would be considered the higher self. But that is another topic. Three voices: the personality, yourself, and the higher self. So, why it's important to understand that is because most of the time, when you are entrenched in your triggers, your traumas, your issues, your feelings, it is not your voice, it is not the higher self's voice, it is the personality's voice, which is not your voice. You only have one voice, and that is yours. How you know your voice versus the personality's voice, even versus your higher self's voice, they're all different voices and they all sound very different. The personality's voice is what has been coined as the inner critic. The inner critic is always saying shoulds, have tos, need tos, shame, guilt. It is always using constructs. It is always using feelings to control. Now, most of us have lost the ability to hear our own voice or our higher self's voice because the personality is screaming at the top of its lungs all the time. Because we are so over-identified with the personality that, again, it has just gone out of control. So, the first thing is simply realizing who is talking right now. And you realize who's talking right now by the way in which that aspect is talking to you. Again, the personality is going to say, you need to, you should, what's wrong with you? You should have turned here, you dumbass. You should have ate this, you fatso. Whatever it is that it's telling you. It is inherently mean and judgy and a little nasty. So it needs to be those things because it gets your attention, right? If it is nasty, if it is saying mean, crude things, you're going to listen because, ouch, oh my goodness, did you just call me a jerk? I can't believe it. Your voice is neutral. It is neutral because it is based in no feelings. It is based in the now. Meaning, the personality construct is always based in a memory, a feeling of the past. It is based in belief systems that need to constantly be reinforced that will, through the mechanism of feelings at you in order to maintain a sense of control, so that then therefore you are behaving in a way that is congruent with confirming the belief system of the personality as opposed to the neutrality of where it is that you are. When you are neutral, you are in touch with your inner knowing. When you are in your belief system, you are in touch with your when you're in touch with your personality, you are in touch with the belief system. Knowing trumps belief every time. For instance, you know that you are alive. You don't believe it, you know it. You know it because you don't need to revalidate it. If you believed that you were alive, you would be in the mirror every 5 seconds. Oh my goodness, is it still here? I can't believe it. I gotta touch it to make sure that it's actually all really here. Because a belief constantly needs to be revalidated in order for it to stay relevant, in order for you to continue to abide by it. A knowing doesn't need to be revalidated. You know it. You know you're alive. You don't need to look in the mirror. It is as simple as knowing, and then you move on. When you know something, again, because you don't need to revalidate it, you're able to have motion in your life. You're able to move from one moment to the next, which means that you are in neutrality at all times. When you are in your personality, it is constantly throwing up belief systems. Those belief systems, again, need to be revalidated. And because they need to be revalidated, it keeps you stuck in a memory of the past and not the moment that is unfolding before you. And because it is keeping you stuck, you are no longer here with us. You are, again, in a construct that allows the personality to maintain control and hierarchy over what it is that you know. Because again, the personality is only alive because you believe it. The moment you shift back into your knowing, all things, everything becomes neutral. And all things before the personality got a hold of you were neutral for you. Your triggers, your deep-seated issues, your traumas. The only reason why you see those things as triggers, as traumas, as issues, is because your personality is telling you that that's what it is. But again, everything that has happened to you is neutral. It is neutral because there is no such thing as good or bad. Those are value-based judgments based off of your perception, based off of your experiences. And what informs you of your past experiences is your personality. We will say this. This is an example of what it is that we're expressing. Let us say you're a child. You're a child and you want to play with your parents. Your parents are tired, they've worked all day, they say, go play outside. You go play outside, but on some level you are ruminating. Why didn't my parents want to play with me? That's strange. Okay, well, let me continue to play. And then a voice will come in, and that voice will say, do you want to know why your parents don't want to play with you? It is because there's something wrong with you, or maybe there's something wrong with them. But it is important that you choose which one. Is it that there's something wrong with you, or is it that there's something wrong with them? Because the moment that you choose, you'll have closure and you'll better understand why your parents didn't want to play with you. And you'll be able to move on. And so, based off of those two options, you choose. Okay, well, I do want closure. So, you know what? Let's say there's something wrong with me. Wonderful, good choice, the personality says. There is something wrong with you. And as soon as you make that determination, as soon as you make that judgment, as soon as you shift into an agreement with that personality construct, a feeling hits you. Whereas before, the situation was neutral, there was no feeling. As soon as you make that belief, there is something wrong with me, that's why my parents didn't want to play with me, the feeling trickles in. And then that feeling keeps me in a very rigid state. It keeps me in a rigid state because it is not mine. Again, I am neutral. But now I'm engaging in a belief system that is keeping me stuck by having a feeling attached to it. And it's very easy to get lost in a feeling. That's why everybody says, don't get in your feelings, in it. Don't get in it, because it's easy to get lost in it. Because you are not a feeling. You are more than a feeling. Just like you are not your triggers and traumas, you are more than your triggers and traumas. So, You don't get lost in a feeling because it is not yours to get lost in. It is the personality projecting something to you that is trying to keep you stuck in a very rigid place, because if you stay stuck there, then it has life, it has meaning, it has substance. If I stay stuck in that feeling, then that means I'm breathing life into the personality and the belief system that is going to keep me stuck, which means I'm not able to shift out of that viewpoint. I'm only able to stay in a very rigid understanding of what it is that I think is happening, but everything inherently, again, is neutral. So I stay stuck in the personality construct and over-identify with that and what it is that I think is happening, as opposed to inherently moving into my neutral self. My neutral self is not governed by memories of the past that then therefore would inform me if something is good or bad. That doesn't mean I don't have memories. It just simply means that those memories aren't informing me that something is good or bad. It simply is. I'm neutral about it. So the first step in identifying and understanding and accessing your triggers and traumas and issues is understanding the belief system that is engaging a feeling that is keeping you stuck in a loop. Because if you weren't in your personality, if you weren't in your feelings, if you weren't in the story that the personality is telling you, like a shitty bedtime story that is keeping you asleep, then you would be inherently neutral about what it is that's happening. All right, well, I'm in pain today, so what is pain? I'm not sure what it is. The only way that I would really understand pain is through a measurement of the past and comparing it to something. This is just me today, and that's okay. Well, I'm afraid of the dark today. What does that mean? Why am I afraid of anything? What is fear? Fear is a construct, again, measured by something from my past that is trying to inform me of the present. So again, everything is inherently neutral. We don't need feelings to allow us to understand ourselves more. Now, there is a difference between feelings and emotions. Feelings, again, keep you in a very rigid, stuck state, and they don't really have any relevance in our lives because that is not really us to begin with. That is the personality's construct trying to tell you what it is that you should believe about yourself in order to keep itself alive. Emotions, however, are yours. Emotions come in and they have enough motion to go out. They don't keep you in a rigid, stuck state, having to go in a circle of having you reaffirm what it is that you think is happening based off a prior memory that then therefore is going to inform your behavior and make you become reactive as opposed to responsive. An emotion comes in and it goes out. It is like a breath. In, out. That's it. It doesn't keep you stuck like you're holding your breath, like you're in a state of fear. So you'd have emotions all day long. Those are yours. Take them. But feelings, again, keep you in a very rigid state, and they're not even yours to begin with. So it is healthy to feel feelings, be in touch, or excuse us. It is healthy to be in touch with your emotions, being in touch with your emotions, because they don't keep you stuck. They allow you to move into something and move out of something. But if something is keeping you in a very rigid state, then that is how we know, again, that the personality has grabbed a hold of us. And what is that story that the personality is telling us? Oh, well, you're tired today. You shouldn't do anything. Who's tired? Who? Who said that? Am I tired? How would I compare that? I'm right here in the now. And if I insist that I am tired, so what? Who cares? And I'm tired. I acknowledge it. I accept it. And as soon as I acknowledge and I accept it, it becomes more of a fluid understanding and it leaves. It doesn't keep me stuck in which I say, no, I'm not tired. I don't get to be tired. It's not okay to be tired. I have to be awake for everybody else because if I'm not awake, then I won't be able to get everything done. I'm tired, okay, fine. Who's tired first? Is it me that's tired? Is it the personality that's tired? Is it the body that's tired? Because I'm not my personality. And I'm not necessarily my body either. I am more than those things. I am more than the personality. I'm more than the body. It is like saying, I'm just my hand. No, you're more than your hand. Your hand is attached to you, but you're more than your hand. So I am more than my body, and I am more than the personality construct. So who is tired? Is it the body? Is it the personality? I know it's not me, because I am always rooted in this moment. I am always inherently neutral. So there is no such thing as tiredness in this moment. There's only neutrality. We talked about the last voice. That last voice, again, is not the personality, and it is not you, it is your higher self. The aspect of yourself that is not having a human experience, that then therefore gets to be objective, not neutral, objective. There's a difference between neutrality and objectivity. And so that other aspect of you has a voice as well. That other aspect of you is gentle. It is always speaking to you at all times, and it is not speaking to you through nastiness or shoulds or you have tos or what the hell is wrong with you. It is always simply giving you suggestions. Are you sure you want to eat that third pint of ice cream? All right, listen, just asking a question. Are you sure? Yes, okay, fine, go ahead and eat it. We're not going to get in the way. We're not your parent. We're just asking questions. Are you sure you want to have that 10th bag of chips? All right, wonderful. We're just asking questions. Are you sure you want to date this person? Is that in your best interest? Just a question, not a judgment. Just trying to check in. Your higher self is always going to simply be asking suggestions and trying to guide you, not through force like your personality, but through power. Your personality is always going to try and dictate your behaviors, your feelings through force, dictate you to move in a way that is not in correspondence with all it is that you are. However, again, your higher self is always just going to be suggestive. Is this what you want? All right, if this is what you want, then go for it. We're not going to get in the way of that. We're not going to tell you that you need to do something. But if you'd like a different option, then there is one. But you have to ask, and you have to listen, and you have to trust. So, again, this is a very umbrella understanding of how you get in touch with your triggers, traumas, and issues. And again, the first step is simply asking who is talking right now. Who is informing me that there's an issue? Is it my personality? Is it me? Is it my higher self? And we will give you a quick, easy, breezy answer. It is always going to be your personality. If you're dealing with a trigger, with a deep-seated issue, with a feeling, it's your personality. So what is your personality trying to convince you of? What is that belief that it is trying to elicit so that you continue to allow it to be relevant by you continue to reaffirm it through your behaviors based in the now? And once we work with that, once we are honest and transparent and acknowledge those things and say, well, who's talking? Ah, the personality. All right, well, I acknowledge that you're talking. I acknowledge that fear, that feeling, that image of the past. And I also, through that acknowledgement, see that it really has no control over me, because me is based in the now, in the present of what it is unfolding. And my higher self, please, can't even be bothered with what it is that the personality is saying. So, just a little food for thought. We cannot exactly give specifics because we don't necessarily know the specifics of what it is that you are going through. However, this is a tried and true mechanism to help get you started on the path of re-remembering the truth of who it is that you are. Because if you truly remembered, you would know that you are more than the personality's voice, more even than the higher self's voice. Which means that if you are more than both of those things combined, there are no triggers, traumas, and issues. Because to say that I have triggers and traumas and issues means that that has more power over you than you do. And that simply does not exist. You are the most powerful being in creation. And because you are creating everything in a sense that you are seeing around you, past external events don't have that much control over you. So, again, just a little food for thought. These are many, many, many topics and things that are important to understand to be able to help guide you on this journey. And if it doesn't make sense, please let us know and we will try our best to make it a little bit smaller to be able to digest. Thank you as always for making time and space for us, and we wish you well figuring out some of these triggers, traumas, and issues and getting rid of that personality's voice altogether. Thank you.